Okay, everyone, we're now starting on part 2 of the preface from General Prouty's The Secret Team. This is a very rare book that has been banned across the globe, and it was very secretive. The first part of the book talks about, it's really just a little bit, the foreword about how he had to, when he was in the process of making it, he had to put a recorder in the plant because he wanted to make sure that he recorded everything in case people were trying to suppress the information that he was trying to get out. So this book is worth like a lot of money because it's, and not in the sense of money, but like human lives and history and stuff, okay? This is part 2, and then we'll finish it in this video, and then we'll go on from there. Another group of writers about the world of secrecy are the masters, men like Allen, Dulles, Lyman, Kirkpatrick, Pierre de Silva, and Chester Cooper. My own choice of the best of these are Pierre de Silva and Lyman Kirkpatrick. These are thoroughly professional intelligence officers who had chosen a career of high-level intelligence officers. The good ones versus the bad ones. Their writing is correct and informative to a degree beyond that which most readers will be able to translate and comprehend at first reading, yet they are properly circumspect and guarded and very cleverly protective of their profession. So we got to read Pierre de Silva and Lyman Kirkpatrick's book. And that'll take a little bit, but we'll get there. We got Eternity. Lyman is a ladies' man, and Pierre de Silva is a good friend. Just a really good guy. This is what I'm getting. He's a golden apple. Very smart. There is another category of writer and self-proclaimed authority on the subjects of secrecy, intelligence, and containment. This man is the suave professional parasite who gains a reputation as a real reporter by disseminating the scraps and golden apples thrown to him by the great men who use him. This writer seldom knows and rarely cares that many of the scraps from which he draws his material have been planted, that they are controlled leaks, and that he is being used and glorified as he is being used by the inside secret intelligence community. Oh, Anderson Cooper. Cuomo. Allen Dulles had a penchant for cultivating a number of such writers with big names and inventing them to his table for a medieval-style luncheon in the great room across the hall from his own offices in the old CIA headquarters on the hill overlooking Foggy Bottom. Here he would discuss openly and all too freely the same subjects that only hours before had been carefully discussed in the secret inner chambers of the operational side of that quiet agency. Hey, celebrity, come to have lunch with me, and we will do secret agent stuff. And then you'll feel like a secret agent instead of be a secret agent to actually help people. And all you're really doing is propagating humanity so your Obama can be something. Who's Jon Stewart? And anybody who's had lunch or dinners with Obama, that's media, morons. Basically, you got used, and you losers. In the hands of Allen Dulles, secrecy was simply a chameleon device. And then we've got the female reporters, chameleons. They're worse than the men. To be used as he saw fit, and that is true. And to be applied to lesser men according to his schemes, so they sexualize themselves in order to grab the attention of the male, whether it be Hollywood entrepreneur, politics, and the viewers. It is quite fantastic to find people like Daniel Ellsberg being charged with leaking official secrets simply because the label on this piece of paper said top secret, when the substance of many of the words written on these same papers were... I know you're here. They're like doing the weird entry space at there. It's bullshit. Because people in real time don't quite understand what the CIA can actually do. Hence this. Hello. Let's see. No more than a cover story. Top secret, when the substance of many of the words written on these same papers were patently untrue and no more than a cover story. So all of the media is fake. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. I mean, we could change the word to untrue news, but it doesn't have the same effect. Except for the fact that they were official lies. Oh, I like that one. Official lies works. And Lyman does lie. These papers had no basis in fact, and therefore no basis to be graded top secret. Going back to Peer and Lyman, is that they are both also like to gossip. We like those kind of people. Like, let me tell you my story. It's great. I got so many stories to tell you. Top secret is top secret. Or any other degree of classification. Alan Dulles would tell similar stories of this coterie of writers, and not long thereafter would appear in print in some of the most prestigious papers and magazines in the country, totally unclassified and of course cleverly untrue. Interesting that we've used the word coterie like 3 or 4 times, isn't it? When Pure Wow used it on an article with diapers because they couldn't stand some girl that was allegedly interested in Ryan. Which country are you actually spying for? Because there are female spies that are shaping society by dating certain individuals who will have a lot of what they think mind pull on the richest men in the world, like attempts at Elon Musk, attempts at the Amazon guy, and attempts at some others. It's top secret, apparently. Okay, just to let you know, if you're that stupid, then you belong in jail. I'm sorry, but if you're that stupid, you belong in jail. Lastly, there is the writer from outside this country who has gained his inside information from sources in another country. These sources are no doubt reliable. They know exactly what has taken place and in Guatemala during the Bay of Pigs era. And don't try to tell me that I'm strong. I don't give 2 craps about this. I'm going to tell you that right now. However, y'all think this is the way to life. And they can speak with some freedom. In other cases, the best of these sources have been from behind iron curtains. In every case, the chance for complete information is very small. And the hope that in time, researchers, students, and historians will be able to ferret out truth from untruth, real from unreal, and story from cover story is the best a very slime ball could do. But a very slim one However, now you have me, and it's very obvious. Certainly, history teaches us that one truth will add to and enhance another, but let us not forget that one lie added to another lie will demolish everything. This is the most important part. Consider that the past half century, how many major events, really major events, have there been that simply do not ring true? How is 9/11 for you? How impossible is it for so many different Taliban members to get on airplanes, to drive planes into the biggest buildings, into the Pentagon? Is that the only one? There's one more too, wasn't there? And then one more takes itself down by a good Samaritan on a plane. There have been that simply do not ring true. How many times has the entire world been shaken by alarms of major significance only to find that the events either did not happen at all, or if they did, that they had happened in a manner quite unlike the original story? The war in Vietnam is undoubtedly the best example of this. How was it for you all as citizens of New York City to know that your people were in the towers screaming for their lives while you stood back and you videotaped? Coincidentally enough, some of you were in airplanes and helicopters waiting for it to happen. And then our firemen and police officers ran into the building to save those people, while we all looked on and then acted as if it was no big deal but a sad time, to take us into war, to make more money. Why is it that after more than 30 years, and this was not Bush, this was Obama and his crew, because they utilized 9/11 to get Bush taken out, or the Republicans taken out of office, so they could set Obama up to look like the good guy. Pretty simple. I'm a Taliban member named Obama. This is what's going to happen. I'm in the South Pole. Why is it that after more than 30 years of clandestine and overt involvement in Indochina, no one had been able to make a logical case for what we had been doing there and to explain adequately why we had become involved and what our real valid objectives in that part of the world were? I mean, do you really know why we were in Afghanistan? Or Iran or Iraq? I mean, for most of you, it all runs together. The mystery behind all of the lies in the area we know as clandestine activity, intelligence operations, secrecy, and cover stories used on a national and international scale, it is the object of this book to bring reality and understanding into the vast unknown area. Not to mention the fact that Obama was an alleged civil rights lawyer, although I'm not sure how you go to college at Harvard for 3 years. When you go to a crappy college the first year, when you have the ability, like the Taliban does, to get information. Meaning, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie that Leonardo DiCaprio played in, Catch Me If You Can, where he pretends to be a pilot and he pretends to be a doctor and he pretends to be a bunch of other stuff. Or the fact that Obama worked in the voting house, which is in a documentary that the Democrats discuss. Not to mention the fact that he went to Africa to tell everybody to get an AIDS test because he was sleeping with the locals, as he pretended a woman who could not speak English was his grandmother, because he had slept with the daughter who could, or the granddaughter or the daughter who could speak English, and she's the one that he thought had AIDS, and it freaked him out. So he tells everybody to go get AIDS tests, and it's in the video. His first attempt on taking out an opponent was listed in the video by Bobby. And women in the video are talking about him, saying that I'm not really sure what he's actually going to do in office, because all he is just talk. However, you all were screaming and hollering, a black man, a black man. However, look at him. He does not look like you. He does not look like a black man, a handsome black man like you. He does not look like you. Nor does he act like you. Like it or not, we now live in a new age of one world, which is a lot more advanced now that we have the internet. This is the age of global companies, of global communications and transport of global food supply and finance, and just around the corner, global accommodation of political systems. In this case, there are no home markets, no isolated markets, and no markets outside the global network. It is time to face the facts that true national sovereignty no longer exists. We live in a world of big business, big lawyers, big bankers, and even bigger money men and big politicians. I'm like, how much more money do you fucking need? There's people pooping in the street in California and people living on the street in filth in India. You're not even willing to clean up your streets. It is the worst of times and the most possibility of times, I guess. It is the world of the secret team. In such a world, the secret team is a dominant power. It is neither military nor police. It is covert and the best of both. It is the best or worst of both. It gets the job done whether it is political authorization and direction or not. It is independent and it is lawless. And that is true, especially if you're a celebrity like Olivia Rodrigo, or Dua Lipa, or any of these celebrity hoes, while you men worship them and say nothing. This book is about the real CIA and its allies around the world. I'm not even sure whose side you are on at this time. Are you professionals or not? It is based upon personal experience generally derived from the work of the Pentagon from 55 to 64. At retirement, I was Chief of Special Ops, clandestine activities with the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff. These duties involve the military support of the clandestine activities of the CIA that were performed under the provisions of National Security Council Directive number 5412. I'm not really sure how Twitter, who is one of our most prominent subjects for political discussions, has a CEO that barely speaks solid English. How he barely speaks English. And he literally tells you that he's going to mind manipulate the masses, and he kicks our president off of Twitter, and we all know who was responsible for that, and that would be the Democratic Party. fake news is real. How could you not see that? Because you don't like the way someone says something, when if you take a look at it from a real perspective, it's funny as shit. It's like he doesn't like hold back on the real shit that's going on, and like, you're a dumbass. Because in every industry, there's dumbasses. You do know that, right? Whether you're a dentist, who I know, dumbass. You don't put a damn crown on that tooth. That tooth needs to come out and you need to have oral surgery. You are not going to put a bridge on class 3 mobilization periodontal disease. We're going to send them to the periodontist. Same thing in politics. No, it's a democracy. And the things that Trump was saying is not a big deal to be shared publicly. But that's how penis size is more important and ego versus taking responsibility for how you're being in a professional space to change the way you're acting. Or in Trump's case, get the hell out because you ain't doing your job. Because the fight back is a comical response. Oh, Trump, you're so silly. I'll see you at lunch tomorrow. Man, I'm going to get you for saying that. I cannot believe you said that. You just started a firestorm. What in the world? Why would you say that about me? You're right. I shouldn't have done that. You're right. God, I'm so stupid. Oh, gosh. You're so much fun to work with. Okay, since this book was first published in 1973, we have witnessed the unauthorized releases of the Pentagon Papers, which we all know are fake. Watergate and resignation of President Nixon, who's a total crook. The runaway activities of the Vietnam War and the Arab oil embargo that led to the greatest financial heist in history, and the blatantly unlawful Iran-Contra affair. And there's a movie with Tom Cruise about the Iran-Contra affair. Guilty, they say. They're all so nice, y'all. It's hard for me to distinguish if it's true or false. Meaning, like, did they know or did they not know? Because in the movie, they act as if the president doesn't actually know. Did he know? He knew. I mean, at this point, it's funny because we're kind of like past it, I guess. But like, damn, man. I mean, I guess they all got to play their war games, but shit, why do we have to suffer for it? I always knew that. Anywho, we'll go into that at another time, I guess, but let's just keep reading. All of these were brought about, the masterminded by the renegade secret team that operated secretly without presidential direction, without National Security Council. I guess, you know, layers of it were known for sure. Because then we go back to the beginning, because Prouty is trying to say he's still alive when he wrote this book. I know he was killed too, by the way. But he knew since he was older that it wasn't as big of a deal because he'd already lived his life, right? And he was going to go down telling the truth. But in the beginning, you know that the president has a lot of other stuff going on. That's why you have to hire trusted people next to you, because they can get one over on you. And guess who takes the fall? I did not have relationships with that woman. But that's probably a cover-up for something else too. Because let's get real. Who cares? Like, really, honestly, who really cares? I care about that's not what we hired you for. However, they saw something in that, and that the public cared more about that than they did political affairs, meaning they could hide more from us. And that's when women started really vamping up their claws into politics, which really has destroyed politics with their bloody tampons and their psycho period PMSing. And guess who's the lead? You know who the lead is. I was the first author to point out that a CIA's most important cover story is that of an intelligence officer. Of course, the CIA does not make use of intelligence and intelligence gathering, but that is largely a front for its primary interests, fun and games. The CIA is the center of a vast mechanism that specializes in covert operations, or as Alan Dulles used to call it, peacetime operations, preparing for war. In this sense, the CIA is the willing tool of the higher level secret team, or high cabal, that usually includes representations of the CIA and other instrumentalities of the government, certain cells of the business and professional world, and almost always foreign participation is the secret team, its allies, and its method of operation that are the principal subjects of the book. Excuse me, but we're not going to go into that. It must be made clear that the heart of covert operations is the denial by the operator. So basically, the book of 12.5 was supposed to be a coaching book for me. However, I wrote the book. A friendly reminder to keep me guided and balanced as they utilized my intelligence for CIA operations. That they all knew except for the one who's operating as a CIA agent. How intelligent can you freaking be? So then they would hire me at jobs, and then they would fire me at jobs when I got too distracted. Not to mention the violent abuse that I would take as I would work within the organizations within my own city. And then they all laughed at me when I did get fired. Corporations known as Black Lives Matter, as you know. The U.S. government is bullshit. No, it is bullshit. It's like fake. It's all made up. I told y'all that. That's why I'm like, okay, this is boring. It's monumental. No, actually it's not. It's common sense. It's called caring about people and being common sense. It's like caring about people and having common sense is what this is. And that's what I do. I'm going to read the last paragraph. I have 2 minutes on this chapter, and I'm going to take over the next video if I decide to do this, because I need to take a break because this is bullcrap. This is the fundamental game of the secret team. They have this power because they control secrecy and secret intelligence, and because they have the ability to take advantage of the most modern communication system in the world, of global transportation systems, of quantity of weapons of all kinds, of worldwide U.S. military supporting base structures. They can use the finest intelligence system in the world, and most importantly, they are able to operate under the canopy of the ever-present enemy called communism. And then, to top all of this, there is the fact that the CIA has assumed the right to generate and direct secret operations. So basically, in my psychic, I was advanced into the sex trafficking ring, where I experienced sex trafficking as a violent crime against me. But then I was so strong in it, I should have died, but I still survived. And then I kept doing it over and over and over again to where I changed timelines. And then I basically jumped CIA frequency and started doing a psychic ability that somebody else can do. However, I taught myself. It just like never shuts off though. And then they never can kill me because they're able to kill other people this way. And so then all they do is fucking harass me all the time and irritate me instead of allowing me to work out. Like, this is how they get me. They tell me that I'm fat and show me my jiggly underarms when I know darn well that I'm skinny as shit because I only weigh 123 pounds. But they know that I like to look like a bodybuilder, so they prevent me from working out and they try to get me to eat chips. The power structure that kept the Cold War at the level of intensity has been driven by the secret team and its multinational covert operations, such as the Iran bullshit with the hijab, which is Monavand, who is a spy in some capacity. I'm not sure if it's for American spies or if she's a spy for Iran within the country of Iran to try to overthrow the government. And I would not trust anybody in that country because they're all manipulators, especially if they don't wear a hijab. And the friendship with that hoe bitch is fake. Meaning I played my game against her game and vice versa. However, I'm a good person and I had hopes and dreams that she would actually change, but she never changed. And that's fucked up. So you getting extradited and I don't give a crap about what you up to, G. And if I find out that you did cocaine and I find out that you slept with that hoe bitch, you better believe that this shit is over. And if I find out you slept in the same bed with her, in the same room, you better believe it's over.